The year is 637 CE, and you are watching this report from Jerusalem. After a 2-year siege, the Islamic Caliphate has captured the city. Our new master, Omar, the second Caliph of Islam, just rode into town on the back of a camel. Let me tell you, it's hot. It's hot because this place is about to become one of the holiest cities in Islam. But it's also hot because it's the middle of the desert, and we're in the middle of summer. But let me get back to this whole holy city thing. See, when Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab seized Jerusalem in 637 CE, he found a city in need of repair. Most of the Jewish population had left after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, and the remaining Christians were not known for their, shall we say, robust building maintenance. So our new leader decided to constructed the Al-Aqsa Mosque here in Jerusalem, which quickly became the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina. Shortly thereafter, a beautiful dome was built over the rock from which, according to Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. That would be the Dome of the Rock. These magnificent buildings quickly made Jerusalem a spiritual center for Muslims all over the world, but also for Christians and Jews. Why? Because these faiths all trace their roots back to this one man, Abraham. In Christianity, he's the father of the faithful. In Judaism, he's the first of the patriarchs. And in Islam, he is the friend of God. But while they all revere Abraham, Muslims believe that it was actually his son Ishmael, not Isaac, who was the father of the Arab peoples and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the final link in the chain of prophets that began with Abraham. So in building these great mosques here in Jerusalem, the Muslims were returning the favor to the Christians and the Jews by restoring these holy sites that had fallen into disrepair. After all, this was the capital of the first Jewish kingdom, the home of Jesus' ministry and the place where he delivered the Sermon on the Mount in a way. Jerusalem was an investment in interfaith relations, but building these monuments was only part of the plan. You see, Caliph Umar wanted Jerusalem to be a beacon of knowledge as well, so he founded the first Muslim library here, which boasted a collection of some 100,000 books in Arabic, Hebrew, and Syriac. He also established a hospital, an academy, and a court system modeled after the Persians. In fact, Muslim rule ushered in a golden age for the city. The economy boomed due to trade along the new Muslim-controlled Silk Road. Roads were repaired. Public works were constructed, and the pace of life quickened with the introduction of new crops such as oranges and bananas. And if that wasn't enough, Omar even extended civil rights to the non-Muslims who lived in Jerusalem. In a letter to the governor of the city, he outlined protections for Christians and Jews, granting them permission to practice their religion freely and forbidding any discrimination against them in the courts. In fact, Muslim rule was so fair and just that many of the inhabitants of Jerusalem refused to leave. When Omar gave them the option to either convert to Islam or face expulsion from the city. No wonder the legend goes that when Omar entered Jerusalem, he saw a Jew, Muslim, and a Christian walking together side by side and carrying a Torah scroll, a Quran, and a Bible, respectively, on their shoulders. Impressed by the sight, he asked them what it meant, and they replied that they were sharing the burden of building and maintaining these holy places for all three faiths. As you can see, Omar was a man of vision, a true statesman who understood the importance of religious tolerance and the power of knowledge. He set the early Muslim state on its path to becoming the greatest library and think tank the world had ever seen. And it all started here in Jerusalem. Well, that's all the time we have for today's Jerusalem File. Join us next time as we continue our journey through Islamic history.